We're a little confused. Are we able to sit anywhere, or is it reserved like free thing, or anywhere? Do you mind if we sit down? This would be really good too, because we've been trying to meet you actually. Sorry. No. We heard you give a very good talk. Sorry, Robert Sarkis with Biomax. We do fetal tissue procurement, like bioplasma. And so we've been talking with Deborah Nucatola for a long time, well, not a lot, but for maybe like the past 6 months or so. And she had mentioned that in Orange County you guys are working with a biotech company or something in IRVINE.
Yeah.
And so the difficult thing has been, because we're a startup, we're very new, sorry. He keeps me polite. This is Adrian. He's one of our technicians.
Hi, good to meet you, Jen.
And so the issue we've been having in the past year is that pretty much all of the Planned Parenthood affiliates in California are already partnered up with somebody. But, so we're in Long Beach. You guys are probably the closest affiliate to us. And, hi.
Do you want a beer?
Yeah.
So well done. I mean, you got it.
Or do they have wine?
I get wine.
Really good, yeah.
Red wine.
I was glad people talk, and I was a little worried. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we've been working on it for a long time, but I was a little worried that people would be like, "We're in California. What are you complaining about? You have access." So it was good. It was good that people like brought up their issues and we had some discussion now.
And I love the
want us to
slides.
do stuff. We need to do things.
Hi, Robert Sarkis.
Hey,
Robert.
Angela.
Hi, nice to meet you. What affiliate are you with?
I'm talking on medical weight loss development.
Okay.
I'm the
Excellent.
speaker.
Got it.
Cincinnati.
Yeah. Excellent.
I've got lots of experience with the elbow. People who operate.
I'm just gonna take one of those. I made a decision, yeah. So the problem we've been having is that pretty much all of the California affiliates are already partnered up with a tissue procurement service. But so Deborah had said that you guys are working with a private biotech company in IRVINE or something, or I don't know.
Yeah, it's Vinci.
Da Vinci?
Maybe it's not Da Vinci. No, that's PPLA. I don't remember the name of the company.
No, PPLA is Novogenics.
The boy, I heard something about.
Is it Da Vinci?
Yeah.
I've never heard of them. But
okay, they're not. The thing that we don't want is we don't want to sell fetal tissue.
Right.
So and actually it would be good to talk because they're on many days that I'm working, I'm noticing that they're saying they're not available. The patient wants to donate, but they're not available to come pick it up. And they won't. They have lots of very strict specifications.
Right.
The thing that we don't agree that the selling of the tissue because we think that would look good as a headline.
Right.
For us.
Yeah.
So we're happy to donate.
Yeah.
So I don't know what your
right. So do you require? Is there any kind of compensation or anything that you?
Nope. We just offer the option, and if they want to do it.
So if we can come and get it, you'll give it to us, is what you're saying?
Yeah, but you usually pay for it, right?
Right. Yeah. Most people. Like. I mean.
Yeah. So.
You're not joking. You're serious about this. Yeah.
We think it's a conflict. Well, if you're paying the patient, then that's another story. But it's just such a.
It's touchy, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. We just think marketing-wise and public affairs-wise,
right.
it doesn't really look good for us if we're
Right. Right.
Science just full on, you know, all they have to do is be like, Planned Parenthood sells their dead babies.
Yeah.
So, you know, I'm happy to discuss it, but it would
So the company that you're working with right now, so they have very clear specifications. Do they take the whole specimen though, or do they? Okay.
They take the whole specimen and it's only certain gestations, like no DID, only certain gestations places, and because of the DID, I think.
Yeah.
And then like frequently they're like, oh, there's no staff to come get it. So we haven't really looked at it. I'd be happy to look at it again. The PPLA company was doing research on like organs and really interesting stuff.
Right. Right.
So I had brought it up at that time that it was a couple of years ago that I observed over there, and our CEO was like, we're not going to get into selling the fetus.
Wow. Yeah, because usually what we say is, you know, we're happy to, you know, provide a portion of our researcher fees back to the clinics and medical offices that work with us, just because it's, you know, in recognition of your staff time, and there's a potential for, you know, lost patient revenue even if things take longer and, you know, stuff like that.
What do you require to be done?
Well, so we are catering to researchers who have a specific protocol in place, a specific study that they're doing, and so there's particular tissues, and a lot of it is liver thymus pairs a lot of the times, because that's used in a lot of the humanized mouse models. Neural tissue is definitely in demand, but that's really difficult to get because you're looking for a very intact specimen at that point. So that's why I asked if Da Vinci or whatever the company is that you're working with right now, if they, you know, if it's Da Vinci or what, you know, their name is, yeah. If we go find out. If they're just taking the whole specimen and they're just kind of trying to figure out why, I don't know, they may not have as high of a quality requirement for the specimen as we might if we're trying to procure an actual specific tissue or specific organ. So that's another consideration, because that's,
They will take anything.
Oh, they'll take anything. Yeah. Are you the provider who does most of the cases, or is there another one?
In the afternoon?
I do about 10% probably in the cases.
Okay.
So we have another doctor. We have 2 health centers. So I do about a quarter of the cases in our Orange Health Center. But we have another facility in San Bernardino.
Okay. Yeah. And when do you start using DIG?
20 weeks, but we don't have DIG right now
Because of?
there's a nationwide shortage of DIG.
Really?
Yeah. Where?
I've been to the new end.
Long Beach.
Oh, right. Sorry.
Yeah. So, yeah, not very far away at all.
Are you working with PPLA?
No, because PPLA is very, very tight with Novogenics right now. So unfortunately, because we've been communicating with Bernardino, and she's very, very conscientious about kind of trying to facilitate the whole process, and even like, you know, convert to breech on ultrasound and make sure that we can get, you know, everything out and, you know, in the right.
We like to do that too.
Oh, you do? Excellent. Yeah.
Do you work with any other providers in the area?
So we've been communicating with providers in the Southwest, and also with Mary Gatter in Pasadena, and we're probably going to be doing site visits there in the next couple of weeks here. There's a little bit of a question whether it's going to work out with their volume and the specimens and all of that, but, you know, everybody wants to give it a try, so we're going to try. We're going to see what we can make happen.
And what gestation are you looking at?
We're looking for pretty much anything 16 weeks and above is kind of what we're looking at.
So you're looking ideally for an intact specimen?
As intact as possible is good, yeah. Just, you know, simply because, you know, it's not worth it to have our technician, you know, spending an hour playing like find the liver when it's in 8 pieces, and like, you know. So that's kind of that's the reasoning behind that.
Have you worked with FDA at all?
So we tried to connect with FPA, and apparently FPA does not want to be involved in any kind of fetal tissue donation or research anything. It's verboten for them. Which would be, I mean, they have a huge volume, and they, yeah.
So that might be why.
They have their own what?
Pathology lab. So I think they're billing Medi-Cal for all the patents on every case, and they have their own pathologist.
Wow.
So I think that's why.
Interesting. Yeah, some people had said that it was because they're also a for-profit, and so they felt it would not look appropriate to be partnering with a for-profit company.
That might be the case.
I don't know. Yeah. Apparently, at the Planned Parenthood national meeting next month, they're going to do a whole session on fetal tissue donation and all of that. So everybody will kind of get to talk about like the different issues and how we're going to, which is really good. I'm glad that that's going to be out there.
Will be there if you want to try to touch base with them.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, I mean, if you guys are willing to donate it, without any, no questions asked, no remuneration, nothing,
Right.
that's just, it's not like, we don't have to pay you $100 per specimen. Like, if you want to waive that, like, we're cool.
Well, let's, you can, well, I don't have my card with me, but I can give you my information and I can run it up the but I can talk with our CEO about it. But that was the discussion, because when I went to PBLA,
Wow. Yeah, I mean, for us, the compensation is really about, securing the relationship, making sure that it's, it's worth it for you and it's worth it for us. And, if there were to be a situation like, Novogenics from PPLA coming in, or STEM Express, or Da Vinci, or whoever the biotech company is, trying to, a way for us to ensure that we get priority and stuff like that. So that's where the money comes in with us.
I thought it was a very humorous picture.
I do actually, I have a card on me I can go ahead and give you, so, oops, where is it? There we go. Robert Sarkis, Procurement Manager for Biomax. Don't worry, we're still interested in Arizona. Okay.
So where are you guys looking in Long Beach?
Yeah, Long Beach.
Where though?
We on Spring Street, just like over by the 710. Yeah, and we operate drop ship with the clinics that we work with, so it's very simple. It's just a kind of a lean, mean operation. So, I mean, we've been having to, in the past year or so, we've been looking kind of farther afield, like Arizona and Colorado and other places to see where we could go, because like I said, pretty much all of the providers in California are already partnered up with somebody. STEM Express has all of the North. There's ABR in San Diego. You guys have Da Vinci, and there's Novogenics in LA. So it's kind of.
How did you guys get started?
Whoops. It happens, right? We've had a little bit. It's that time of night. So my boss is a woman named Susan Tenenbaum. She worked in clinics for many years in the 1980s, kind of got out when it got kind of violent and very scary. But she did like counseling for a number of years with, she was working in counseling in the clinics, and I guess there was like a chain or something in Los Angeles that she was part of. And she, just a year ago, she had the idea, her niece, my friend Brianna, does research, is actually in the university system, and they kind of came up with the idea together that this is a bridge they could make between the demand for researchers and the supply on the clinic side, where materials are just being thrown away all the time. And my background is in biomedicine, and so they hired me as procurement manager about a year ago, and it's incredible because we're all so used to the political controversy between embryonic and adult stem cell research, but fetal stem cells have gotten lost in the mix, kind of, and people don't talk about that really. But that's where some of the most interesting research action is really going on. And there's FDA clinical trials right now that are moving forward using fetal stem cell products. So it's a really exciting field. It's a really exciting area.
Once it was over, she was like, and this is your exit.
And what's interesting too is when I go to like stem cell meetings, they have whole sessions on how do we talk about what we do for the public, and how do we deal with the misrepresentation and the politicizing? A lot of the same kind of like stigma issues that you talk about in the family planning community. No, certainly not as intense with regenerative medicine, but there's still like an analog there, which is really interesting to me. Yeah, because and then you have these two communities too, where you guys have the supply and we have the demand, but the communication isn't really happening. In part because of the stigma, because we're all worried like what'll happen if it's front page news, New York Times, like all that. Yeah. 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 Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
My uncle just died.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The fact that
Yeah.
treatment,
Yeah.
today. And my grandfather died before. So, like, if, he died 30 years ago, but there's not been huge advancements. There's improvement, but, it's crazy.
Yeah.
We have the potential to,
Yeah.
No, I'm on board. We're very conscious of,
Yeah.
Orange County.
I know the orange veil, right, that covers everything.
That's a huge part of it.
Yeah.
It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
Orange County, we're 20 miles from LA, but it's whatever, the most conservative place you could possibly imagine, really.
A little slice of Texas right here in California, right?
Yeah. It is.
Pretty beaches,
I moved from Long Beach to Orange, actually.
I used to live in Orange. I bounced around between like Orange and Fullerton. I was in Anaheim Hills working for a while. Seen them all. Oh, definitely.
My husband is like,
regressive.
listen, you can have friends over, but you're not allowed to have your friends outside in the backyard and have discussions about abortion. Because there's some crazy
I know, right?
guy who lives behind us.
I believe it, yeah. There's always one of them in the neighborhood.
It's crazy. Like, our next door neighbor was like, well, the illegals. Like,
oh my gosh.
I was like,
I know, you know those illegals. Like,
I do know the illegals. I like that.
yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, it's so crazy. That's part of what we're like, we have to be really careful about.
Yeah.
Orange County Register picks up on it. It's just
The register just runs with anything that they've got. It's crazy.
He's been front page news like every month.
Once or twice, maybe,
Maybe. No. Discretion is an important part of everything.
What's that?
I said discretion is a very important part. We do.
You just never know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll definitely think about it and talk to my CEO.
Yeah. So we were able to sit in on the cervical prep session earlier today. What's your protocol in Orange County? Are you guys?
Like, we do 2-day procedures over 18 weeks, and we do dilatant mostly. Is that what you do? And we do meso with the dilatant.
So you do have meso on board.
Yeah.
So you guys are probably getting very good dilation then.
It depends.
It depends. Uh-oh. Listen up. about your larger cases, when you said sometimes you're converting to breech beforehand and then doing, are those coming out fairly intact, or what is that?
We usually do like compress the calvarium.
But it is breech first, so you're getting the whole thoracic cavity is coming out. Oh, it's rare.
We have that much dilation to be able to do that, but when we do,
When you can, you do. Is interesting. Interesting. Well, when that happens, do you get a pretty intact specimen, or what would you say?
Yeah, but the calvarium
There's always, yeah. That's the tricky part, is the calvarium. Have you met Dr. Harris from Michigan, Lisa Harris? You remind me very much of Lisa. Like I hope that's a good thing. Maybe that's I don't know. Depending on your yeah. I was gonna say you remind me of like a younger version of Lisa, definitely. Yeah. She sees the connection. I was talking to her in October a couple of months ago. We were at the exhibiting in Miami, and what's really interesting is researchers, stem cell researchers, who are using fetal tissue. You know, every scientific study that's published has a materials and methods section, and some researchers are very, very hesitant to say anything in detail at all about the materials and methods when it comes to the use of fetal tissue procured from elective procedures. But it's very relevant to like replicating the research, like you would want to see it in there. But they don't include it, and that's a function of stigma. Like we all go over is that, and so we kind of realized that too. And we're like, oh wow, it's everywhere. Yeah, it's very interesting. So it's just another thing. Yeah. That's what Deborah had told us, that sometimes that's something that can contribute a lot to getting more intact specimens, is if you're converting to breech beforehand, and then you have dilation as the case goes on, and so then even in that case you can sometimes get an intact cal and everything.
I think most of us have trained to not have fully intact specimens.
Oh, you're purposely trying like not to, yeah.
Even though we use it, etc.
Yeah.
It happens sometimes.
It's where it gets tricky. Yeah. You can try. Yeah, when you've got just one. Yeah. What is your volume, you think, for your later second try cases per?
We probably figured it out recently. I think we do about it is having some.
Okay. That's why I was like, just like, gotta go. You just got locked out. You need my password. Get back in.
Probably about maybe like 30 cases a month. It's probably like 25
a month.
Yeah.
So a little bit. Yeah. So about a little bit less than 5 a week, probably four or 5 a week.
Yeah, maybe a little less.
And none of those are getting dig now because you're not using dig.
Right now.
Right now.
We have only been over weeks, but yeah.
Wow. And is Da Vinci using most of those cases, or they're not?
Yeah.
They are.
For the patients who say they want to donate tissue.
Do they have a person on site, or you guys have to do it?
Just have them sign the tissue donation, and then
yeah. And then somebody comes and picks it up later, or what do they do?
What's funny, I have a brother.
Yeah. What we would envision doing is actually sending one of our technicians to the site, and they could do the consenting. They would also need a small portion of the path lab to do the dissections and everything, and all this. So there's maybe a little bit more of an impact on the affiliate, but so we can kind of figure out how that.
yeah, I mean, we are in the process of trying to improve our surgical site productivity. Anything that potentially slows down the productivity is going to be a no-go, because
It's something that has to.
dealing with patients who are there for 6 hours, 7 hours. So
6 hours, really.
yeah, it's not
And those are for 2-day procedures.
well, some. So we're really trying to look at that right now. So anything that we're going to propose that could add time is less.
Yeah.
definitely cover it. I'll look into the market.
Yeah. How many surgical sites do you have? Two. In Orange and San Bernardino. Okay.
Right, in Orange, San Bernardino, our volume is significant.
Right.
Got it. And are you the physician who does the later cases, or that's somebody else?
Me and some other.
Okay. So you will go all the way to 24 weeks, you personally do it. Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
I can work with that.
All types of things. I don't feel like it's extremely likely, but I can talk to the CEO.
Yeah. Isn't the buck kind of stops with him, I guess? Yeah.
Like I said, the issue of the financial relationship potential impact on productivity.
Right. This is like we want to find a way to compensate for your productivity while at the same time not exposing you to, anything negative. Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard. I mean, I think if I were going to have a business design for that business, I would probably look for a foundation support and, more of a nonprofit approach.
Yeah.
Given the climate. But
I think that's just an interesting
I think it's a good thing.
It's just delicate, and it has to be. Everybody has to kind of go in with their eyes open and know what's going on. Yeah. Sometimes people are a lot more open to it if you talk about kind of the end game or the end goal in terms of the research that's actually being done, what these specimens will actually contribute to, right here, right now. I don't know what Vinci is working on. Do you know what they're using for an eye?
It's probably a good opportunity for me to look at. But yeah, you're right. It's just that when the money comes.
It's all about the framing, really. I mean,
We're just in a terrible situation with the political climate in the country at this point. It's impacting everything. It's making us, forcing all of us into positions that we don't necessarily agree with, but it's not in our control.
Right. Because at the end of the day, it's about protecting access, not just doing everything in the way that you would want to in an ideal way, but it's about,
It's bad. It's bad for women's health. In the ideal world, we would have those relationships very always.
Where do you come down on, because I know there's kind of this discussion that's very, very current right now, where the question is, do we kind of pivot from what we do and what we believe, or do we kind of more like what someone like Dr. Harris would say, kind of come out of the closet and be very open and proud about it? There's kind of a tension between these two positions, right? And then we're trying to figure this out. Where do you come down on that spectrum?
Well, I think that American women need to come out of the closet. So I can come out of the closet as much as I want, but the patients are coming out of the closet, then I'm not.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what
You're just one voice. Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty open about what I do, but at the same time, I don't, want to be killed for American women to say I had an abortion. Doing research, but for me, So I think, American women need to speak up and not take for granted that this is something that they're always going to have access to.
Right.
But I can't them not doing that.
Right. Because can that come from the health center? I mean, can that I don't know, because that's one of the discussions is people providers say, I would tell all of my patients, send a letter to your congressman, tell them what you just did, but I don't know if that's practical. It's kind of like, what do you do with that?
We're not supposed to have those kinds of discussions.
Right.
Nonprofit, we can have that discussion in the framework of political work, where we say this is political work. But I don't think it's, if a patient brings something up to me, I'll discuss it with it. She doesn't respond to use the same
Yeah.
But I've had lots of, I work in Pittsburgh, I had a lot of patients say, well, I didn't know who had fetal anomalies. I would say, I didn't realize that this is something I could possibly need. And it's so terrible. Like, you have to tell me all of it. Like, I had to have 24-hour consent, and I had to tell them the father of the baby was responsible for child support. Things that were ridiculous. And I was like, it's ridiculous that I have to tell you this, but I have to tell you this because we're law. And they would be like, well, that's crazy. And I'd say, well, if you think that's crazy, you should go. Then I could say, then you should vote for people who are going to make these laws and think about your experience and election. But, I just want to get past this day. And so, it's very different than other issues. Like, in that there's so much organization stigma on it and it's considered a choice. I think that, the gay rights movement succeeded when it framed things out. It's not a choice.
Right.
It's just the way I am.
Right.
It's a characteristic of me,
Right.
like race,
Right.
gender.
Right.
It's not like that.
Right. So maybe that's part of the pivot to the reproductive justice frame. If it's not just about choice anymore, but it's about realities of what is and what we have to do.
Yeah, you're right. And it hasn't been
2 years later, it's still.
It hasn't been what?
It hasn't been framed that way at all.
Yeah.
It's just a part of women's lives.
Yeah.
That's not. We bought into the choice aspect of it. We use choice. It's not. It's really not.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's framed that way.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's a big question. Like I said, the same discussions happen in the regenerative medicine community. Certainly, I don't think the intensity is, no stem cell scientist is walking around worried about, getting shot, the next day. Like, to be real, it's not a thing.
But you guys can be allies for us,
Yeah.
speaking to people about it, talking to your, and it can even, we have conversations, Sarah talks about this, being on the airplane and, sitting next to somebody and saying, what are you doing? Talking about it.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. I feel like that's what I do, right? The research on this is really important.
Yep. I'm going to have to use the restroom, excuse me. It was very good to meet you. You got my card. We'll be in touch. Good to see you guys. We'll talk soon, definitely. Have a good night.